Hey guys, Jordan Tabakman here, lead educator for Gamma Clippers Australia and New Zealand. I'm down at Barber Temple today to show you guys a modern men's haircut. Today I'm going to be taking you through techniques that are really understandable and easy to work with. And what I'm going to do is start by cutting the top first and then moving to the sides, which allows me to build the structure on top and then move my clipper work straight into that structure and get an overall really smooth finish. Now what we can see with Dylan's hair, he's got really thick hair. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in straight from the back in front of the crown. We're going to start picking up some length and we're simply going to point cut into it rather than straight cut, creating shark teeth, which allows us to remove length and add texture at the same time. Working in really smooth, free-flowing sections. Now, what I like to do is I like to work in 3 panels. Now you can work either left to right or right to left when the hair is flowing forward, but what I've done is I've started with panel 1 by point cutting, panel 2 through the middle, and then panel 3 here, and I've left the fringe till last. What I want to do is allow the fringe to sit forward, more of a croppy kind of look, but something that's going to be really easy to style, not so much short, but with a bit of volume as well. Now, the best part about point cutting through the top, especially with hair like this, is when we straight cut, what we know is that we have to texturize it after to break up those heavy scissor lines. But by point cutting, you're allowing a lot softer finish. As you can see, there's no scissor lines, it's nice and soft, and that's really important in terms of having work that you can do quick and effective at the same time. Now I've maintained a lot of the length through the front. The reason is I want to really accentuate that fringe and allow the volume to stand out. So I've added a lot of texture through the middle part here, and then when we go to style it, we're going to have a lot of volume to work the front. Now because I want to retain a lot of length through the front, and we can see there's a bit of a kick through the movement, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the fringe out, allow it to rest on my fingers like that instead of pulling it down. We want to just let it sit nice and soft and just come through and just break up that fringe a little bit. So as you can see, I've point cut the top. We've got a lot of texture through Dylan's hair, through the middle. Now, if we turn him to the side, we can see we've got a lot of volume as well through the fringe, which is going to allow us to get really nice styling movement through there. And we can always go in after and fine tune the fringe just to soften it up a bit more. But to me, it's really important that we get the structure in place first before we go up with the clippers. Reason being for that is because if we go do the fade first and then we come and cut the top, what happens is we can leave quite a heavy, dense weight line and have to go back in with our clippers after. And to me, that just takes too much time, and we want to get really effective methods in place to allow us to do work not only quicker, but more effective and simple for yourself. So we're going to move into the clipper work now. I'm using the Ergo clippers by Gamma. They are my favorite clipper day-to-day use. They fade really well and they're just simple to use. So I'm going to start with a 1.5 guard now. So as you can see, I've created my safety line. What that does is it allows me to stop using my clippers too high with a fade and losing that shape. And all I'll have to do at the end is either clipper over comb or scissor over comb to blend it in. And that's going to allow us to keep that nice square shape through Dylan's hair. Now when it comes to fading, what I like to do is work 1.5 all the way down to skin. I don't like to put any skin lines in because what we know, we're working with a visual aspect of what we do. Everything is seen by our eyes. So when we see any dark spots, we know we need to go over. That's what I like to do instead of putting in a skin line, and then all I focus on is getting out that skin line. So I've got a 1 guard on now. I've opened the lever. And I'm working right underneath that 1.5 and just flicking off. So as I'm coming off with the clipper, I'm just flicking off to allow me to blend that in really smooth. And we're using a fade brush as well, just to remove any excess hair that we have on the scalp, as sometimes visually that can be in our way and impact on how we cut as well. So after open 1, I close the lever and I'm working just 1 millimeter or 2 underneath that open 1. We've opened up the 0.5 now. Closed it up. Now, although it looks like I'm going right up to that safety line, I'm really just focusing on that flick, because that's what's going to allow you to blend in all your guards. Now what we're going to do is we're going to open up the lever. I'm going to work in 3 parts: open, halfway closed, and fully closed. That's my favorite thing about this clipper, is it's got little clicks every time you open up the blade, and that allows me to work a lot easier. So open clipper now. And everything that I'm doing, I'm getting every guard in there and every open, halfway, and closed blade in there before I go and fine tune anything that I do. Reason being is we can get a bit lost in what we do if we focus too long on one specific guard, or open blade, halfway closed, fully closed. And we know that we're going to have steps in there, but what we need to focus on is getting every single measurement of clipper guard in there, and then breaking it all up after to get a really soft finish. Fully closed. Now I'm using the Gamma skin clipper. Now it takes it down to as short as we can get the hair before we use the foil machine to get a complete bald skin feeling. What I like to do, I like to work on one side first, the other side after, and then the back last. The reason for that is because when we have a client sitting in the chair, what we can tend to do is work around the whole head, and then our client goes, oh, can we go a little bit higher? It's quite detrimental to what we do when they say that. So it's a lot easier for us to get one side done, ask our client, are you happy with how that looks? And then that gives you free rein to work all the way around the head. Now I'm going to move into the balding out of the skin through here. So we're using the Gamma Prodigy. It's a really, really good tool to bald out the hair completely. Difference between this and a cutthroat razor, we know that going with a cutthroat razor, you're going down with the grain of the hair, so it's not quite as smooth. And with the Prodigy, you're going up with the machine, so it allows a really, really smooth finish. A great technique to get any kind of lines out. Instead of going up with the machine, we're just going to tap down very gently. So I'm going to move back into touching it up a little bit. Like I was saying, I leave all the fine tuning until after I've gotten everything in place. And just playing around with the open lever, closed lever, using the corners of the blade as well to break up any dark spots. Now, as you can see, what we've got left is our safety line through there. So the weight line that I left until last, all we're going to do now is blend that in to finalize this side. And I'm going to do that with clipper over comb. So all I'm going to do is move that fringe a bit out of the way, pull that down, keep my comb nice and square. Now what I'm doing now is I'm removing the bulk all through that side, and then I'm going to come up and I'm going to refine it. Now, after we've removed the bulk with the clipper over comb, what I like to use only in this circumstance through the side part here where it's quite heavy is my thinning scissors, and just to remove a bit of that bulk, I find this scissor really good for. I don't like to use it for the top of the hair at all, because through point cutting you can get that texture and length that you want to get without damaging the hair too much. And what I'm trying to look for in particular is any kind of dark spots that I see, and just get into those and break them up. So as you can see, I've done one side. Now I'm going to move to the other side and I'm going to work in salon speed, show you guys exactly the same process just on the other side now. Now, as we can see, we've completed both sides and we've left the back until last. The main reason I do this as well is because there's so much more different kind of shapes through the back. We've got the occipital bone, we've got different bumps and lumps and stuff compared to just the side where it's quite a flat and easy surface to work on. So I'm going to move straight into the back now. Again, same kind of movements. We're going to start with a 1.5 and we're going to meet one side around to the other. Now again, we've left a weight line. As you can see, it drops around there so we can maintain some shape when we go to blend in all that heavy weight there. Now we're just working in the same process as the sides, working 1.5 all the way down to skin. Again, no skin lines, just focusing on any kind of darker points that we see that we need to remove. So what we're doing now, we've come to pretty much the end of the haircut. I am going to take a bit of weight out of this front section in a moment, but I'm just refining the edges through the side. Now, I only do this with clients that come in weekly, maybe 7 to 10 days, just clean it up through there. Otherwise, I like to keep it more natural, as when it regrows out, it doesn't look too good when it's 4 to 6 weeks. So generally 1 to 2 weeks, great option just to clean up that edge. It really makes the fade stand out a lot more, but for me, it's very, very important that we, as a barber, allow our client to give us feedback if they're happy to do that. Now, as we've come to the end of the haircut, I've taken a lot of the bulk out through the top through point cutting. We've maintained a lot of the bulk through the front. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these croc scissors, which are a slicing thinner. They're really, really good just to break up all that weight by lifting the hair up and just coming underneath. This will allow more texture, easier to style, more volume. So I've completed the haircut. Now what I'm going to do is move into the styling stuff. Now, we added a lot of texture through point cutting. Now what we have to do to really accentuate that texture is add a texture spray. So I'm just going to spray that in really good amount through the front. And what we're going to do in a moment is dry it all in. Now this creates really good volume and a gritty kind of feeling adds mainly a lot of natural volume. So I'm just drying it in now. As you can see, moving my fingers around, getting as much kind of volume and texture movement as we can. This is going to allow it to sit really, really soft, yet volumized. So as you can see, we've got a lot of volume through the fringe and a lot of texture through the mid part of the top. Now, if we turn them to the side, we can see the fringes are accentuated really nicely with the volume, which flows well with all the shorter texture behind that. I'm going to add another product in there now, a texture powder, just to give the roots a bit of a lift. Now this is a dark texture powder, so what this is designed for is to lift and volumize the hair, but it works in the tone of brown hair and darker hair, so we don't have that smoky effect. And we're just now going to finish it off with some matte clay. We'll take about that much on the fingertip and really run it through the hands, warm it up, and move all the hair around. Don't worry about how it looks when you put the product in. The styling comes right after, where you use your comb and stuff like that. Just get the product through, get it through the roots, as we know that it sits really well throughout the day if you do get it through the roots. Just a little bit of hairspray to finalize the look. Now we've come to the end of the haircut. I was able to show you guys a few different techniques I use in the salon, specifically using my gamma tools, which are available at Barber Temple. So if you guys want to have a look at any of those different tools that I use, feel free to reach out to Barber Temple. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed and I hope you guys picked something up. Until next time.